Hey there, everybody. So, continuing the books of the Bible, today we're going to talk about Judges. Many people, although it's not stated, it's kind of an unknown thing, believe that Judges was written by the prophet Samuel. The date of writing is approximately 1050 BC, although it goes back in the details of history to 1375 BC or thereabouts. The key theme or key note about Judges is that Israel is going to go through cycles of sin and then suffering because of that sin, and then salvation, where a judge comes in and saves them from the situation that they're in. Obviously, the name being Judges. So there's lots of that happens. But after Joshua's death, remember, Moses encourages them to follow the Lord and keep him first. Joshua drives all the people out from the land of Canaan and says you need to serve God alone. Well, they kind of back off of that. In fact, in chapter 1, verse 21, it says, the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem. So in other words, they've not done what they were supposed to do. And then these false gods and these false idols start creeping into their life and start creeping into their community, and it begins to really draw them all down. And God says to them there's going to be thorns and snares in their side because they haven't driven out these false gods. So that's exactly what happens. Israelites start worshiping false gods, and then they get attacked, and then they cry out to God for help, and he sends a judge, and it's this vicious cycle that continues. There are all kind of judges. The lesser known ones are Othniel, Ehud, Tola, Jair, and Jephthah. There are some more familiar ones like Deborah, who is the one female judge who led a military victory against the Canaanites. You have Gideon with the fleece and the 300 men. So you've got that story as well. That's within Judges. And then, of course, you've got Samson, who defeats the Midianite or the Philistines, and his great weakness being his love for an unsavory woman, such as Delilah, and the things that go on there. But there are some quotable verses in here. Chapter 2 and verse 12, they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and they followed other gods, of the people that were round about them. The Lord raised up judges and delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them, in chapter 2, verse 16. And this is a big one that we all know a lot of times. The Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give to the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me. Some of the unique things about this book, which are pretty cool, several judges had unusual families, by today's standards at least. Jair had 30 sons, Abdon had 40 sons, and Ibzan had 30 sons and 30 daughters. Jephthah only had one daughter, who he kind of foolishly vowed to sacrifice to God for a military victory. So weird. But so what's the big idea about Judges? What do we need to take from it? The ancient Israelites got in trouble when they did that which was right in their own eyes, rather than what God wanted them to do. Let's not make the same mistake ourselves. Let's do what God would have for us to do and spare ourselves the attacks that we would have to go through, and then the calling out to God again, and that cycle that we could get stuck in. The teen of the day today is Brady. Pray for him as he is in Ohio this week, I believe, or at least traveling to and from Ohio at some point this week, that he would have safety and have a good and restful time. Have a good day.